Okay, good afternoon.
All right, David Moore's out sick.
Clarence Hill, Forward Star Telegram. Coach, you talk about the challenge of Miami speed. You know, everybody talks about Tyreek Hill, but you have A-Chain and Mostert and Waddle, and after what what Cook did last week, just talk about the focus on that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a tremendous challenge. I think clearly when you watch them, they're unique schematically, and I think they do a great job of playing to their skill set of their players. But yes, I mean their ability to attack the C gap and do the things that they do, explosive both in the run and the pass. But yeah, that's obviously our main focus.
Defensively, is it not giving them a free release, or do you have to play off? I mean, how do you mix it up, or?
Well, I mean, you got a lot of shifts and motions and reduced splits and things like that. So it's not that simple, So I think the biggest thing is like anything, whether we're putting together an offensive run plan or a defensive, plan, or on either side of the ball, you start with stopping the run and running the ball and then work to your protections. So, and that's definitely the case here. They're very dynamic.
Mike Archer with ESPN. How much do you go back and look at the game in, I think it was 20 or 21 against Denver with Fangio and what they did against
There'll be a point. I mean, it came up in conversation. It was more for the matchups. He went to more man-to-man that day than prior to the game. So, so I mean, he's in a different place, different players. So I mean, yeah. So there's not. I mean, I think it's like anything. It'll be in the game review, but it was not part of the cut-ups.
John Machado with The Athletic. Do you have any update on Jonathan Hankins at all?
Doing better. He'd be hard pressed to go this week, but yeah, he's doing better.
And then what about Zach Martin and Malik Hooker?
They're both in the Wednesday group, so they won't do much today.
Calvin.
You talk about the run defense. Obviously, having reviewed the film and sleeping on it, how did Mozzie look in that first start and everything?
Yeah, I think like anything, the run defense, I think there's definitely plays he can learn from, as far as pad level, but I thought he did a good job fighting to get, stay in his gap, fit in his gap. I mean, I think just like anything, it starts with, attacking the line of scrimmage, staying square, getting your gap, and then obviously the tackling was probably our biggest issue in our run defense.
Was that like a learning experience for him? Like,
it's a great experience. Well, just start with the snaps, I mean, to play that much, it was a great experience for him.
Scott.
Skyler Dixon with BAP. More specifically on Tyreek Hill, beyond the obvious of speed, what do you think makes him a good receiver?
Well, I mean, forget about the speed. I mean, he's dynamic, in what they do with him. I mean, he's able to play inside, outside, goes in the backfield. I mean, that's the things I always look for with playmakers. I mean, you can line him up anywhere, and he's just so dangerous with the ball in his hand because he can score from anywhere. And, he's as far as playing him one-on-one and all those the types of things or decisions you got to make, but he's an extremely dynamic player.
Nick Harris, Cowboys.com. Being able to limit the rushing attack around Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane, what's kind of the pre-diagnosis of that so far?
What's the first part of the question?
Being able to limit the rushing attack, Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane going into this week.
Well, I mean, they're gonna run the ball. I mean, so I think like anything, you gotta, there's how you set your plan, and I think their ability to. I don't think I'm just trying to think back through the years of a team that gets the ball on the edge as much as they do. I think their ability to attack the C gap and wider is extensive. So that'll be the starting point. But both guys can really haul it.
Our video team, they're doing a project on the equipment guys that you have around the facility. Mike McCarthy and those guys, what do they contribute to this team on a week-to-week basis?
I mean, they're so important in everything we do. I mean, I think number one is people. They're just they're staples of our organization. I think they represent our organization exactly how you'd want them to. Very professional. Obviously, their experience speaks for themselves. I think they're both 120 years old. I think they've been there since they're. I mean, these guys have been around forever. I mean, I know Mike's 40. Bucky's grew up in it. But the thing I really like about them most is I think it's really cool when you look at their staff. They got a bunch of young guys, and they're very good mentors to those guys. I do appreciate that. But it's just like anything, they have excellent relationship with our players, and they're very good at what they do.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Morning News. The Dolphins are the subject of Hard Knocks, but it seems like they do a pretty good job. NFL Films does a giving too much insight in terms of their football operations. Have you guys watched it and been able to glean anything of it?
No, we just read your articles. No, so I mean, we have people watch it, obviously, but I haven't gotten anything out of it yet. So is that what you're looking for?
Sure, yeah.
Was that it?
I think so.
That it?
For now. All right.
Garrett?
I thought you meant like exit left.
I have to do one more. I get one more.
Oh, he's got one more. Michael does have one.
Sorry. How does the Dolphins' use of motion apply stress on a defense? Is it similar to?
Well, I think like anything, because you do so much of it. I just think like the basics. When you get in there, you start looking at offense. It's just like anything. You want to put things in families, buckets, or how you want to explain that. And as far as when there's so much of it, you really don't get to see the final formation. Whether it's a 2x2 or 3x1. So, it's because it's all about challenging the rules of the defense. And that's the mission. Clearly, when you see the way they play, and I think the other part of it is challenging the vision and the discipline of the defenders, also to gain leverage points because like I said earlier, I think they do an extremely like I said, I don't recall seeing so many C gap or wider runs in the production that they get out of the runs. So it's all those things.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, your offense is the #2 scoring offense in the league. The Dolphins are #1. How does going up against the best offense in the league, how does that change your approach, if at all, to play calling, game management, things like that, knowing how potent they are?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we got to maximize our effort, and that's against a coordinator I have a lot of respect for. He's done it for a long time, and I think if you watch their earlier games of the year, and then now I think they're playing it significantly at a much higher level of defense than they were the first half of the season. So that's really what my focus is on. But and I get the statistical. That's a great question. We looked at our starts, their starts, all those things. That's all part of the Monday routine with the analytics and so forth. But yeah, a fast start would definitely be very helpful for us this week.
Jess.
Jessica Barnes, PFN. Coach, can you talk about TJ Bass and the advantage he has when veteran rest days do come up, that he builds that continuity within the line?
Oh, yeah.
And how easy for him is that?
I just think it's twofold. I think the way we've, repped the veterans this year with the Wednesday work also helps our younger players, and TJ is definitely the benefit of that. So, I mean, the fact that, Tyron and Zach have been available, each week is so that's obviously a plan that's working, but it really gives us the opportunity to develop the young players, and so it's a win-win.
Todd.
Mike, on Zach, he's been on this plan here the last couple of weeks as well as what Tyron's on. Is this week harder to know if he has enough because he's dealing with the quad as opposed to other weeks?
Well, I think the process too. I mean, with Britt, and I think you guys have seen the work. I mean, that's the hurdle you have to clear to get back out there anyway. So I think it works hand in hand.
All righty. Thank you, Mike.